What is going on, guys? How y'all doing on this Friday night? Are you ready for a good time? I'm not talking about SmackDown. I'm talking about my live review from this past week's episode of AEW Dynamite. And look, got a very fresh new background. Found a better PNG photo of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and not bad of a one for our new AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page, as Wednesday was declared National Cowboy Shit Day, as this man is just over as hell. Again, just so well deserved, for sure. And actually, I just realized I forgot to pull up the notes here. Dynamite. Let me see here. Get this pulled up here. Alright. But anyways, we're going to get into high gear here from Full Gear's Fallout show, November 17th, 2021, that took place in where my sister lives, Norfolk, Virginia. Very nice town, for sure. Definitely recommend checking it out if you ever go past there. Get a drink, because we have a nice little show to talk about. This is a very, very excellent Fallout show. It felt like a little bit like a new era in some ways. They set up a lot of fresh things going forward, for sure, for AEW. I mean, I'm not sure what shows they're setting up for here. I'm pretty sure we'll have another winter special like they did last year with Winter is Coming, which I'm wondering if, well, I was gonna say that could be when we have the match with Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson. But I don't know what this story they're doing now. I'm not sure. Maybe wait a little longer. Maybe until the New Year's Eve, the New Year's special that they're going to have, or maybe do another beach break. I don't know. Whatever Dynamite special that they do. But we have that. We had a beginning of a feud of two of the best on the microphone. We got another round with a match that we've seen millions of times, but was actually pretty good. Actually, I've mentioned I'm kind of sick of seeing it, but was pretty good. And we had an excellent main event as well. There was a lot to me that happened on the show. I'm excited. I mean, I gave it an A. I gave this show an A. It was a very good Fallout show. I mean, yeah, the only thing that I really didn't care for, even though I gave it an A, was just the stuff with, Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black. Because, like I said, it just feels like that thing just feels dead to me. But, it is what it is. This still was just an excellent show, though, from top to bottom, I feel like. Definitely one of the best Dynamites I've seen, for sure, in recent memory. I mean, again, they've all been good, but, there's some that felt like it was just coasting a little bit. Good, but coasting. This felt like a must-see show. Especially that opening segment. Oh, man, that was gold. I can't wait to talk about that. Let's roll into it, though. So, we opened up the show getting a little bit of a video package from the Elite, where Kenny Omega says he hasn't watched his match back, and people have been asking him when he gets his rematch. But frankly, he's a little disgusted. Not in Hangman, though. Hangman won, and he congratulates Hangman, which could be the tease of maybe a future face turn from Kenny. I don't know. But there are things he needs to change, and not here. He asks the Young Bucks and Adam Cole to hold down the fort while he's gone. Apparently, there's rumors going around that Kenny Omega apparently is getting ready to have some type of a shoulder surgery or something like that. So he could be out for 6 months to a year. Yikes, but fine. Kenny deserves a break. He within the past year, Like, he was working, like, what? AAA, he was working AEW, he was working Impact, like, he was all over the place. They made him the wrestling god. He deserves a break. I'm surprised, though, that they didn't mention anything about him, noticing. I mean, unless the story about him not watching the match back was an excuse to not, mention about how the Young Bucks basically let Hangman do what he did. But then again, like I said, that like him saying then watch the match back, it could lead to that long-term, thing of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen when he realizes? Like, it actually was a pretty good story. It was like whenever Tommaso Ciampa went away for injury after he turned on Johnny Gargano. It's like, you wonder, what will happen when Kenny does realize what the Young Bucks did. And of course, will this turn into an Adam Cole and Kenny Omega feud whenever Kenny Omega comes back? Could maybe Adam Cole be the one to dethrone Hangman Adam Page, and we'll do Kenny Omega and Adam Cole for the world title? But of course, the only confusing thing is, it's like, I keep saying, especially of course now they have Bobby Fish coming on board, it looks like. I'm wondering if eventually they're going to do a feud with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish taking on Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. My only thing is, though, is how can we do that now when the Young Bucks basically turned on Kenny? We'll have to wait and see, though, but the suspense, like excellent suspense that I definitely love. And I definitely, am intrigued to see what happens when Kenny does come back. But for now, he's taking some time off. Getting rested up, getting healed up. Definitely works for me. But in the ring, we have the Dark Order. And John Silver proclaiming it National Cowboy Shit Day. And introduces the new AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page, who is from Virginia, of course, so he got a nice little kind of, homecoming pop. He came out with his jacket zipped up, but he opens up to reveal the championship. He comes down to the ring and says he'd love to celebrate National Cowboy Shit Day, and he knows his championship means a lot and carries a lot of responsibility with it, and he knows that he's got the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, next. And out comes Bryan Danielson, thinking they're going to somehow keep this face on face, right? No. Let's talk about this promo. This promo just shows how much Bryan Danielson knows wrestling. Like, I continue to think back whenever I watched Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania documentary, and he mentioned how there was a time where when he was on the Indies, independence and whatnot, where originally the idea of him coming to WWE was him being the Brian Kendrick's tag team partner, because he went from Brian Kendrick to the Brian Kendrick, and him and Brian being good friends in real life, he wanted to bring in Brian and be the tag team partner. Well, of course, Kendrick eventually got fired like a week later, so that whole idea got scrapped. But of course, the one thing they were wondering if they wasn't sure if Danielson could talk. Well, let me tell you something. Danielson can talk. He can tell a story, and it reminded me also, he's good at making you love him, and he's good at making you hate him. And Bryan Danielson knows in this feud, he's not the one people want to see win. He is not. So he's making himself be booed to even put over Hangman even bigger, and to also tell the story that he means business. Something we don't see in WWE, that he's someone who's driven to be the best. And in order to become the best, you got to beat the best. So, of course, that's how it's going to make, whenever he most likely, which I'm guessing will be putting over Hangman Adam Page, it'll make Hangman Adam Page into an even bigger star. But he came out. He comes in and slides to the ring to address Page. He came out to say one thing, congratulations, and offers Hangman a handshake, which he accepts. But he's not going to lie. He's super excited for his match. against him for the title. But to be fair, he's also a little surprised and disappointed it's not Kenny Omega. Because obviously, Bryan Danielson wants to prove he can beat Omega. That was the whole story of it, the match whenever they had that match at AEW Grand Slam back in September. But Hangman then says, well, that's very kind of you. He goes, but remember, I beat Kenny at Full Gear. And if I'm not mistaken, I did it in less than 30 minutes. Firing a shot at Danielson for having to go to a draw with Omega because it was a 30-minute time limit. Danielson said, though, he didn't come out here to start anything. But he's not going to be wrestling a guy dressed like a Ghostbuster. He wants to kick some ass. And if you want to see cowboy shit, apparently that doesn't mean wrestling. He's out here wrestling every week while Hangman is out here flapping his gums. Bryan Danielson mentions that he main evented WrestleMania, which got him booed. And he wrestled the next day, which gets him even more boos. Of course, like I said, he was literally setting himself up to be hated. And he did such a great job putting the heat on him in this in this segment to, of course, put more babyface momentum on Hangman Adam Page. Again, gotta love the man for going out of his way for doing that, for sure. Hangman says, though, if he wants to wrestle for the title, I don't see any reason to wait. And the crowd is all in. But then Bryan says normally he'd be up for it. But he's out here and ready to wrestle in his gear. Hangman, though, is in street clothes and a horrible leather jacket. Everybody told him Hangman Page has a long list of excuses to explain why he's failed, and he doesn't want to beat him for the world title, and for Hangman to have the excuse that he wasn't ready. Hangman says he knows Virginia is for lovers, but he'll still be happy to fight, in which they start to get ready to brawl, but then the Dark Order breaks them apart. And Bryan says, let one of his little friends stop them because he knows he doesn't really want to fight right now, and everybody knows he'd kick his ass anyway. And then, of course, then it sets up first match with Danielson and Evil Uno, and he dominated Evil Uno. And of course, again, he told the story where it's like, he wanted to, again, just go out there and show he means business. He's not just a footnote or like a road or just like a pit stop for Hangman. He means business. And even whenever he had hit Evil Uno with the flying knee, he was like, not enough. So he actually stomps the head of Evil Uno, and then he has him pass out to a triangle choke. And then afterwards, he held on for a few more seconds as Aubrey Edwards tried to pull him off to break the count. And he's interviewed afterwards and says he came out to congratulate Hangman because of his behavior. He ended up kicking Evil Uno's head in. So, until he fights Hangman, he's going to take each member of the Dark Order and kick their heads in. Next week they'll be in Chicago. And he wants to wrestle Colt Cabana of the Dark Order in Colt Cabana's hometown. Again, he is literally working his way up to get all the heat on him. This isn't at first you feel like this isn't something like, babyface on babyface feud where, it's, oh, we respect you, blah, 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 this and that. No. Danielson is not going that route. He wants this to build this match to be people wanting to see Hangman kick his ass. That's what he wants. And again, you gotta love Danielson for always, going out of his way and just being so good at doing all that. Again, whether he's he's easily likable. He's charismatic, easily likable. I said that when he turned heel, surprisingly, at the end of 2018. I said, in a year, he's going to be a babyface yet again. He's not going to be a heel forever in AEW. No, he's not. He just has to play this role to show that he means business. But I enjoyed it. What's up, Tyler? Thank you for joining us live here. We have MJF talking about his match on Sunday with Darby Allin. He says all of you hear about how great all these guys on the roster are at wrestling, and everybody says he's only good on a stick. But screw that and screw you, because while you viscerally hate his guts, you have no choice but to admit just how damn good he really is. He beat Darby with a headlock takeover, which, no, he didn't. He used the Dynamite ring. And right about now, he's really excited to go to Norfolk and make the Universal for the title. Gestures that he said he doesn't know what's next for him, even though he's gunning for that world title. We also get a recap of CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston, and Eddie Kingston has like a run-in with Daniel Garcia, and they have a fight, I think, coming. They're going to have a match, I think, on Dynamite, on Rampage, I think, I'm not sure. But then we get this match, which was pretty dope. Butcher and the Blade take on Chaos, which is Orange Cassidy and New Japan's Tomohiro Ishii. Never seen Ishii until tonight, but he looked like a boss. I remember one of my favorite parts of the match is where I think it was he was in the ring with the Butcher, and the Butcher was like throwing elbows to him, and he was just no selling them. It's like, you really did that to me? Boom. You really did that to me? Boom. You really did that to me? And after each elbow strike, he kept walking closer and closer until he literally walked his way and no-sold his way across the whole ring. It was awesome. He looked like a boss in this match. And then, eventually, they get the win with a vertical drop brainbuster from Ishii on the Blade. I thought it was a great showing. We have an interview with Andrade El Idolo and FTR backstage. El Idolo calls Cody Rhodes and Pac out, saying he's a better wrestler than either of them. And then Cash Lewis says that they were robbed, and if Cody Rhodes and Pac and the Lucha Bros want to get in their business, they'll bring Malachi Black along in an 8-man tag team match. And also Tully Blanchard calls out Arn Anderson and says, not like Jose, he's got one more left in him. And we have a segment later with Malachi Black, which was, good thing. But like I said, I'm definitely done with this feud with Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes. That's my thing again. If they're not gonna turn Cody Rhodes heel, just move on to this, because this is just teasing us big time. But we all know it's not gonna happen because Cody does not want to turn heel. So my point is okay, even though this is perfectly setting up for Cody Rhodes' heel turn, and we're not going to go through with it, and we're just going to keep having all these random matches, random tag matches. I'm like, just drop it. I don't know. Like I said, it's definitely becoming a little bit of one of those feuds that's kind of going on a little too long, basically. We have another promo here. Again, Ty Conchi basically saying that how she's learned from her loss and will win next time she gets a shot at any sort of championship. And then, of course, we have Dr. Britt Baker backstage. Says she's getting tired of carrying the women's division, and she's going to pass the spotlight to the future TBS champion, Jamie Hayter. Thunder Rosa is Jamie's opponent, but Britt wants nothing to do with that, and says she'll be irrelevant after Hayter beats her. Again, still, probably teasing that future match with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, where Thunder Rosa dethrones Britt Baker, as I think we all continue to see happening. Like I said, maybe wait till till Double or Nothing at least. Like I said, if Hikaru Shida can get a full year as champion, I think, again, as much as I love Shida, Britt Baker, I think, should be getting a long reign as well. No excuses, because she's definitely the best in the company today. Speaking of which, we had a match with Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose, and I'll admit, as always, this is one match I feel like I've seen a little too many times, but can't deny that they have good chemistry. This was a good match. There was a spot where Nyla Rose does goes for a she went for what was it called? She went for crap, what's it called? She did the somersault thing, like a raspberry flop or whatnot, and, or like a swanton or something. I can't remember what they call it. I'm drawing a blank. Into a chair, while Hikaru Shida was sitting in it, but Hikaru Shida got out of the way. Vicky Guerrero got involved in the match with the kendo stick, but then Shida was able to take it and attack Vicky with it for one or two shots on her, basically. But so good work back and forth, but Nyla Rose continued to work on the damage that Serena Deeb has costed, which I'm still going to say I feel like that they did kind of not go in the right direction with that, because what's the point of the feud now when Shida has already gotten the 50th win, but of course now Nyla Rose is. I guess you can kind of fix that with Nyla Rose now tying her 51 wins, and she's probably probably passing her up in the wins column. Maybe I don't know. That's going to be able to cover it up, but I still feel like with her stopping her from getting her 50th win, I feel like they still gave it that win, gave her that win back a little too soon. But that's continuing to be the effect on that. Malachi Black cuts promo. Then we have, oh boy, MJF comes out with Shawn Spears and Wardlow. Spears tries to get the crowd to shut up before MJF speaks. He says that you're looking at the guy that checks all the boxes, and he is easily the most complete pro wrestler on the planet. He's the man who will start a bidding war in the year 2024 when his contract expires, and says he's going to be, he's going to be, quite, on the market, even though I should say he should just stay at AEW. He's the past, the present, and future of professional wrestling. And moreover, if he wanted to, he could take your hometown horse and send him straight to the glue factory, talking about Hangman Adam Page and how nobody in this locker room is on his level. Until CM Punk's music hit. Oh boy. You talk about, not just we had CM Punk and Eddie Kingston, two best on the microphone. Now we've got CM Punk and MJF. Another duo who's both excellent on the microphone. He came out and MJF just was lost for words till he offered a handshake and introduced himself. Hey, I'm Maxwell. And we expected Punk to say, hey, I'm Chick Magnet, or hey, I'm Phil Brooks. He said nothing. He just walked away, refused the handshake, and he smiled and he just walked away. Oh boy. I had these same vibes whenever they started to build for MJF and Darby Allin. Now we're doing MJF and CM Punk. Oh boy, that's going to be good. I can't wait for that match. Build that up longer term till Revolution, I would say. Speaking of MJF's recent opponents, Darby Allin was backstage saying how MJF didn't break him mentally and they will have a rematch. And he's not going to take any time off. He wants to fight the biggest and the baddest, which brings in the Gun Club, and Billy Gunn basically challenges him to a match on Rampage. And then we have a segment also with we have this segment. I love this segment also. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. They call Christian Cage and Jurassic Express out for the worst night of their lives and inform us that the Young Bucks aren't cleared to compete currently. And on Rampage this week, he'll team with Bobby Fish and take on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Fish then mocks the Jurassic Express, and the Bucks stop him short because he was about to say he trashed on Jurassic Express, and he's about to say, and that is obviously he's about to say that is undisputed. But the Bucks stop him saying, oh, we can't say that here or whatnot. It was classy. I really wondered what they'll be called whenever they bring in Kyle O'Reilly. But that's gonna be exciting. Like I said, I feel like not just the fact that they're trying to, bring the Undisputed Era into AEW, give them a fresh direction, of course, as well. But also, like I said, they've done a good job in making me actually get behind Bobby Fish. And he's not just a man that we wonder how much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish. But he feels more legitimate, like in his own element. So I'm excited to see what he'll bring to the table. As it seems that they're trying to put together the Undisputed Era under a different name, of course, in AEW. So I look forward to definitely seeing that. Leo Rush and Dante Martin had an excellent match with the Acclaimed, and they get the victory as well. Glad to see Leo Rush, and he actually had a pretty good interview on Talk Is Jericho last week. I listened to it. Definitely recommend checking it out. It was definitely a very good spot for sure. Yeah, the man of the hour. But that was an excellent match. Then Team Taz came down trying to recruit Dante Martin. So I guess that's the next feud, I guess. Christian Cage then says him and Jurassic Express are proud of what they did, and they never bring a fish to a gunfight. Jungle Boy says you can put those through tables and hit them with chairs, but they're better now than they've ever been, and they've accepted their challenge for Friday. And then the Lucha Bros cut a promo saying how they tell FTR to stop crying and they're pathetic for all the cheating and failing. Ray Phoenix in English says that Death Triangle and Cody Rhodes will have something special for them because they're the best four-man team out there, so I guess that 8-man tag match was accepted. Jay Lethal then has his match with Sammy Guevara. Looked excellent. Had an excellent match for sure. Sammy wins with the GTS to retain the title. Afterwards, the Inner Circle come out to celebrate with Sammy, and they offer a hand to Jay Lethal as well, and he shakes it. Excellent way to end the show. Exciting way to set up, with the future of AEW. Like I said, I gave the show an A. Just a fun show, especially again that opening promo with Danielson and Hangman Adam Page. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for MJF and CM Punk. I'm still intrigued by this women's eliminator tournament for the TBS Championship. I'm excited to see what's next for the Elite and Adam Cole, Bebe. A lot to look forward to. So, I got no complaints. That's my thoughts on Dynamite this week. Gave it an A. Tonight I'm going to take a break for a few minutes, but I am going to do those retro live reactions to that one match at Money in the Bank 2011 I wanted to do for a while. And then maybe record a couple, pre-recorded things I've been wanting to do for a little bit also. So, we're going to do that. And tomorrow, I'll have time probably. Tomorrow I will talk about the news that happened yesterday. Even though at this point, I'm just like laughing. Just like, could you expect any less? But that's my thoughts, guys. That's Dynamite. What are your thoughts on Dynamite? Gave the show an A. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video. Subscribe for more content to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBoy93. Till then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll see you all later. Have a great rest of your night. Peace out, everybody.